being a spiritual person is actually a very advanced way to be. It might not seem it at first. You might think, oh, spiritual people, they're just doing their own thing over there, just being spiritual. No, not at all. That's this kind of cultural idea of spiritual people. You want to drop that. When you have a higher level of awareness, a higher level of consciousness, you are aware of so much more. You can see so much more. The way I'd frame it for you is you're more of an adult. When you're more integrated as a human being, you're more of an adult psychologically and even spiritually. What this means is you, very organically, fall into the position of the more mature person. You just slot into this role. You have more perspective. You have more consciousness. You can see things so much more clearly. You spend a lot more of your time watching, observing, and here's the key one, loving. Why is it that you spend more of your time loving? Well, as it turns out, when you become a conscious person, you take on the responsibility to love more deeply. You will kind of know inside of you that the truth is you can love everyone. There's no real reason why you can't love everyone. Not really. Not to your higher self. Yeah, your ego will like some people, dislike some people, really avoid some people. But really, you know inside of you, intuitively, that there's no real reason why you can't love everyone. You can't love unconditionally. Really, we all have this. But someone who is, we could say, spiritual or conscious is more in tune with this. So they're more connected to this reality that, yeah, you can love everyone. And that everyone is love and acts from love, right? In other words, you gain spiritual understanding as a spiritual person. Yeah, this is everything. If there's one thing you want to really start to develop from watching these videos, is spiritual understanding. Yes, you want to embody it. Yes, you want to live it and integrate it. Of course, man. But without this understanding, you can't properly get this stuff. It all boils down to your pure understanding of reality. So you'll have a lot more of this than most other people. And you've got to accept that. In fact, if I can share, a bit of a personal thing, when I was younger, I noticed that I was just naturally more conscious. And here's the really interesting thing about this. Being conscious is the same thing as being loving. So when I used to drink, I don't drink anymore, but I used to drink. Go out to the club, go out to the bar, whatever. I would always notice that I would have greater love for the less conscious people in the club. Sometimes maybe there's a guy dancing on his own. He's just really not, he doesn't know who he is yet. He's maybe getting too drunk because he's just trying to numb his existence. There's other people who, I've been this guy, like where, you go around the club and you're just basically looking for female attention. You're looking for girls. You're looking for someone to be with. But, really, when I was that person, I wasn't really fit to have that person in my life. I was just looking for some sort of empty sexual gratification. And so, that doesn't really attract the right kind of person. And sometimes it doesn't fucking attract anyone. And then, of course, you've also got people who are just really in their egos. I once had a conversation with someone. It was weird. Like, I was with the person's girlfriend. I didn't know the guy had a girlfriend. I didn't know it was this person. I was friends with her. And I realised that they were split up. And so what I tried to do is I tried to usher her, who I knew, over to him. That's what I did. And so I ushered her over to him. I said, hey, here she is. And he got the completely wrong idea. He thought, why are you talking to my girlfriend? And this guy, bless him, he just was so unconscious. He couldn't see that I was trying to do him a favour. I was trying to help him, to reunify him with his girl. But he just was so, bless him, he was so unconscious, so in his ego, he thought I was trying to steal his girl or something. I was like, no, dude, listen to me. That's not what's going on here, man. You be back with her. I'm going to go now, okay? And I had to be really conscious in that moment. Because when you've been drinking especially, you can see, I saw some anger in me. I was like, dude, you're not fucking understanding me. Please, here you go. So you have to be really, really conscious, right? Again, when you have more consciousness, you take more responsibility. It was more selfless for me to help that girl return to her boyfriend. Versus, if you really want the truth, she was actually trying to talk to me. So instead, I saw the selfless move, I did the selfless move, and I took responsibility. And here's the thing, it felt good. Being this way, being a spiritual person, being a conscious person, taking responsibility, it feels good. You will like it. Why? Because you're being this adult. You're being your true self. You're helping people, you're loving people. It feels amazing. In other words, you are in alignment, in integrity with your real self, your true self. Not your ego, not this sort of sense of self, but your actual underlying essence, which is the universe within you. Another few examples in this kind of like really crude context of the club. I remember, just times where like I'd let someone go before me, I'd hold someone's drink. I remember my ego was like, why am I holding this person's drink? But I just let it be because I realized I've got to be loving in this moment. And then another example, this one's really sad. Again, I mentioned earlier, some people in the club, when you go out drinking, they're just on their own. They're just kind of lost. They're just kind of there. And I remember, just doing little things like dancing with that person or just hanging out with that person. I remember I had times where I could have, been flirting with a bunch of girls. I could have been out with my sort of friends. I remember just really like dropping myself and just hanging out with some people that I'd never normally hang out with. But just because I kind of wanted to be a nice person to them, I wanted to be loving. And afterwards, it's funny, I had a bit of ego backlash. I was like, why did I spend my time in the club with this person? And then, I meditated and I was like, I actually did a really solid thing there. I was a really selfless person. So you won't get away with it perfectly. Your ego will probably, take issue with it sometimes. But generally, what I'm really trying to emphasize today is that being a spiritual person is advanced. Being a spiritual person is fulfilling. And ultimately, being a spiritual or conscious person is the way to be. If you really think about it, there's so many different ways that you can be in life. One of the more advanced ways is to be like this sort of spiritual, selfless, conscious, loving, responsibility-taking human being who's psychologically an adult, who's mature, who's willing to be loving to everyone, and who's in alignment with the universe. That's what I'm talking about here. Okay, cool. Final thing. If you enjoy the stuff that we share on this channel, if you resonate with it and if you relate to it and you want to make it real for you, you can, if you want to, work with me one-to-one via coaching or mentoring. In other words, if you want to spiritually level up and actually make this stuff real for you so that it's not just, this stuff that you're taking in, it's not just ideas. No, it's literally your life. You're literally becoming this person. If that speaks to you at all, if that inspires you, if that would be fulfilling for you, then see the link in the description. It'll take you to my website. You can book a free call with me. If that's interesting to you, check it out. If not, that's cool too. Otherwise, man, we shall call it there. My friend, lots of love. Take care. And as always, peace.